officer.
Ma'am, hold up.
Good evening, officer. Can I help you?
Step away from the door. Hands where I can see them.
I'm just getting inside. This is my house.
Move away from the door. Now.
Sir, I just got off shift at the hospital.
Give me your hand right now.
Wait, please.
She lives there. I'm recording this, officer.
Lily, it's okay, baby. Stop resisting.
Officer Lisa Chang had no idea what she just walked into. In the next 30 minutes, a simple address mix-up would spiral into a career-ending disaster that would cost the department millions. The exhausted woman being handcuffed on the porch wasn't a burglar. She was Nicole Harper, a homeowner of 8 years who knew exactly where the property lines ended and police harassment began. While Officer Chang smirked about following protocol, she completely ignored the mortgage papers, utility bills, and the fact that the actual burglary call was for a house 2 blocks away. And the body camera on Chang's own chest was capturing every single biased comment for a massive lawsuit. Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments. But Officer Chang had no idea who she was screaming at. The woman in the scrubs wasn't a criminal. Her name was Nicole Harper. She was a senior ER nurse at the local hospital. Nicole had spent the last 15 years working in high-stress trauma care. She held a master's degree in nursing and was a pillar of her community. Because of her job, Nicole had a hidden expertise. She was highly trained in de-escalation protocols. She knew how to talk to angry, confused people because she did it every single day in the emergency room. She also knew the local laws better than the officer did. On this Tuesday evening, Nicole wasn't looking for a fight. She had just finished a grueling 12-hour shift saving lives. She was exhausted. She was wearing her blue scrubs. She was holding her own house keys. All she wanted to do was take a shower and sleep in her own bed. She had lived in this house for 8 years. She knew her neighbors, and they knew her. She was just trying to walk through her own front door. Officer Lisa Chang, on the other hand, had a reputation in the precinct, but not a good one. She was a 5-year veteran known for aggressive patrolling. While some officers saw their job as protecting the community, Chang acted like she was at war with it. There was a pattern here. In just 18 months, citizens had filed 4 different complaints against her. Every single one involved her taking a minor interaction and turning it into an arrest. One time, she detained a delivery driver just for parking weirdly. That complaint was dropped only after a doorbell camera proved she lied. Another time, she threatened to arrest a teenager for crossing the street in front of his own school. Her own colleagues called her RoboCop behind her back because she lacked empathy. She didn't listen to people, she just saw enemies. But this time, her inability to listen wouldn't just result in a complaint, it would bankrupt the department. It's scary to think officers like this are patrolling our streets. Do you think officers with too many complaints should still be on the job? Let me know below. It all started on Tuesday, October 14th at 7:15 p.m. The location was 847 Oakwood Drive. It was a quiet, nice suburb. The sun was setting, sprinklers were on, and neighbors were walking their dogs. It was a perfectly normal evening. Nicole pulled into her driveway. 2 neighbors across the street, the Johnsons, waved at her. She waved back and walked to her door. At that exact moment, police dispatch sent out a call. They reported a potential burglary in progress at 847 Oakwood Court. That is an important detail. Oakwood Court is 2 blocks away from Oakwood Drive. Officer Chang was nearby. She punched the address into her GPS, but she wasn't paying attention. She drove to Oakwood Drive instead of Oakwood Court. She misread the map. When she pulled up, she saw Nicole standing at the front door. Instead of checking the house number on the mailbox, Chang made a snap judgment. She saw a black woman at a door in a nice neighborhood and assumed she didn't belong. She pulled her weapon immediately without verifying a single thing. That's when a simple GPS error turned into a civil rights violation. If you want to support real justice and stories like this, hit that subscribe button now. Get on the ground, Chang screamed. Nicole froze. Her hand was still on her key in the lock. Officer, please, she said calmly. I live here, I'm a nurse. Sure, and I'm the queen, Chang mocked. She holstered her gun but rushed up the walkway. She grabbed Nicole's arm hard. Nicole pulled away slightly. It was a natural reaction to being grabbed. Stop resisting, Chang yelled. I'm not resisting, Nicole cried out. Let me unlock the door, my ID is inside. Chang didn't listen. She forced Nicole face down onto the concrete porch. Nicole's keys scratched against the paint of her own door. You are hurting me, Nicole shouted. You should have thought of that before breaking in, Chang said. She pulled Nicole's arms back roughly. Across the street, the neighbors saw everything. Mr. Johnson ran to the edge of his lawn. Hey, he yelled. She lives there. That's Nicole, Chang ignored him. She pressed her knee into Nicole's back. She clicked the handcuffs on tight. Nicole was now lying face down on her own welcome mat, humiliated in front of her neighbors. "You're making a mistake," Nicole said from the ground. Her voice was steady even though she was terrified. "The only mistake was you thinking you could get away with this," Chang replied. What Chang didn't know was that her body camera was recording audio. It was capturing every word. And those words would destroy her defense later. It is terrifying how quickly this escalated. Type "justice" in the comments if this makes you angry. 10 minutes later, the situation completely unraveled. With Nicole handcuffed on the porch, Officer Chang finally decided to call dispatch. "Suspect in custody," Chang said into her radio. "Can you confirm the description again?" The dispatcher's voice came back clear and loud. "Suspect is a white male, 6 feet tall, wearing a red hoodie." Nicole looked up from the ground. She was a black woman, 5'4", wearing blue scrubs. "Did you hear that, officer?" Nicole asked. "White male." Chang froze. She looked at Nicole. Then she looked at the radio. From the ground, the nurse used her hidden expertise. She calmly cited the department policy number. "Policy 402 requires you to verify identification before physical detainment," she said. Chang looked shocked. "How do you know that?" "Because I pay attention," Nicole said. Then the neighbors stepped in. Mr. Johnson stood on the sidewalk. "I've lived next to her for 8 years. You have the wrong house." Next to him, Mrs. Johnson was holding up her iPhone. She was recording everything. "You are at Oakwood Drive," Mr. Johnson yelled. "The sirens are over on Oakwood Court." Chang looked at the mailbox. The numbers were right, but the street name was wrong. She realized she had screwed up, but instead of apologizing, she got defensive. The body camera captured her muttering to herself. She whispered, "These people always claim they own the place." That was the smoking gun. It wasn't just a mistake anymore, it was bias. Chang grabbed Nicole's arm again. "We'll sort this out at the station," she said. She was going to arrest her anyway just to cover her tracks. "No," Nicole said firmly. "Call your supervisor now." Chang hesitated. She knew she was in trouble, but she was too proud to admit it. She tried to pull Nicole up, but Nicole went limp. It is a technique used by protesters, but also by patients in distress. "I am not going anywhere with you," Nicole said. By now, Chang was starting to understand how badly she had miscalculated. But wait, there is more to this. She didn't just make a mistake, she tried to bury it. Let me know what you think about her reaction in the comments. 5 minutes later, a patrol car pulled up. It was Sergeant Miller, the watch commander. He was an older officer with a serious face. He stepped out of his car and looked at the scene. He saw a nurse in scrubs handcuffed on her own porch. He saw the neighbors filming. He saw Officer Chang looking nervous. "What is going on here?" Sergeant Miller asked. Chang walked over to him quickly. She tried to whisper so the camera wouldn't hear. "She was breaking in, Sergeant. She was aggressive." Miller looked at Nicole. "Is this your house, ma'am?" "Yes," Nicole said. "My keys are in the door. My wallet is on the table inside." Miller looked at Chang. "Did you check her ID?" "She wouldn't show it to me," Chang lied. "That is not true," Mr. Johnson yelled from the street. "She tried to show her keys immediately." Miller walked past Chang. He looked at the door. The keys were hanging in the lock. He turned back to Chang. "Dispatch said the suspect was a male at Oakwood Court," Miller said sternly. "Why are you at Oakwood Drive arresting a female?" Chang stammered. The GPS. She fit the description of a suspicious person." "A nurse coming home from work is not suspicious," Miller said. He shook his head. "Take the cuffs off." "Now," Chang tried to argue. "But Sergeant, if we let her go, she might sue. We need to charge her with resisting to protect ourselves." Miller stared at her. "I said take them off." Chang walked back to Nicole. She unlocked the handcuffs. Nicole stood up. She rubbed her wrists. They were bruised and red. "You are free to go, ma'am," Miller said. "I apologize for the confusion." Nicole didn't smile. She looked at Chang. "This wasn't confusion," she said. "This was a choice." She picked up her bag and walked into her house. She slammed the door shut. The first thing Nicole did wasn't take a shower. She sat down at her kitchen table, still shaking, and called the best civil rights lawyer in the state. If you think officers like Sergeant Miller are important for stopping bad cops, hit subscribe. We need more accountability like this. By the next morning, Nicole's lawyer had already demanded the footage. A month later, the video leaked. To the press, the contrast was shocking. The news showed 2 clips side by side. On the left was the actual burglar at Oakwood Court, a white male being arrested peacefully without handcuffs. On the right was Nicole, a nurse, being thrown onto her porch. By that evening, the hashtag #NurseNicole was trending on Twitter. By midnight, the video had over 2 million views. People were furious. Nurses' unions all over the country issued statements condemning the police department. They pointed out that while nurses were saving lives, this officer was threatening them. CNN and local news channels came to Nicole's house. They interviewed her on the same porch where she had been handcuffed. "I just wanted to go home," Nicole told the reporters. The police chief tried to do damage control. He issued a standard apology, calling it an unfortunate administrative error. But the public wasn't buying it. Officer Chang's union rep tried to defend her. He claimed she feared for her life when Nicole moved her arm. The internet laughed at this defense. How could an armed officer fear a tired nurse holding keys? This story was shared millions of times. Share it if you think others should see this injustice. Nicole didn't just go on TV. She filed a massive federal lawsuit. Her lawyer argued that Chang violated her Fourth Amendment rights. They sued for false imprisonment and excessive force. During the legal process, called discovery, the truth came out. The hot mic moment from the body camera was played in a deposition room. Officer Chang had to sit there and listen to her own voice say, "These people always claim they own the place." Her face went pale. One sentence proved she wasn't just following protocol, she was acting on bias. It destroyed her claim of qualified immunity, which usually protects cops from being sued. Wait until you hear what happened next. The city lawyers looked at the evidence. They knew they would lose in front of a jury. They decided to settle. You won't believe how much the check was for. The city agreed to pay Nicole Harper $2.5 million. It was the largest settlement in the city's history for an arrest where no one was shot. But the consequences didn't stop with money. Officer Chang was fired. The department charged her with conduct unbecoming and lying on a police report. Because she was fired for lying, she was put on a Brady list. That means she can never testify in court again because no judge will trust her. Her career in law enforcement was effectively over. However, there was a loophole. Chang was never charged with a crime. She lost her job, but she didn't go to jail for assaulting an innocent woman. She walked away just without a badge. Nicole took the money, but she said it wasn't a victory. It was just compensation for trauma she would never forget. Nicole stood outside the courthouse to give her final statement. She looked strong, but her voice was emotional. "I still get scared when I see headlights in my driveway at night," she admitted. "My heart races every time I see a uniform." She looked directly at the cameras. "I'm a nurse. I save lives regardless of who you are. Officers should respect lives regardless of who we are." She had a message for the citizens watching. Know your rights. Record everything. If my neighbor hadn't pulled out her phone, it would have been my word against hers. She also had a message for the police. Verification takes 10 seconds. Trauma lasts a lifetime. You have the power to take away freedom, so you have the responsibility to be right. Nicole thanked the neighbors who stood up for her. "My house is my sanctuary," she said, "and I bought it with hard work, not permission." It was a powerful moment. She didn't hate the police. She just wanted them to be better. She wanted to feel safe in the home she earned. This happens more than we think. Police raid the wrong address thousands of times a year. But this case changed things. The department implemented the Harper rule. Now, officers must verbally read the house number to dispatch before they step out of their car. It is a small change, but it forces them to slow down and look. So let me ask you, do you think a $2.5 million fine is enough to change police culture? Do you think Officer Chang would have done this if the homeowner looked different? Do you feel safe opening your own door at night? Because if we don't fix the problem of bias and haste, then we're just waiting for the next aggressive officer, the next innocent nurse, the next ruined life. Comment below if you believe officers should carry their own liability insurance for lawsuits like this. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these stories. We're going to keep demanding better. This isn't just about one bad officer or one victim. It's about all of us. See you in the next one.